Hi, I'm Louis McGraw.
Hi, Ken Martello from RPM Platinum Capital.
Hi, I'm Beth Brooks.
Ken, today we have we have a number of questions for you. I mean, we could keep you here all year, but one of the things that we want to ask is, what are some of the typical questions that consumers want to know? What's part of the loan process? What are some of the concerns that people have when they call you? Because that's what we want to be here to answer for them. We want them to be able to come back and watch these videos over and over again so that once they watch them, they can, okay, well, I had that question, but I just didn't realize I had that question. So with you being the answer to the problem they didn't know that they already had, how can we better inform the consumer on some of the things that questions that have come across you?
Okay, so I just want to make sure that I'm the solution, not the problem in this case, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So most of the questions I get in the beginning of the process is, what can I afford? And then after what can I afford, how much is it going to cost me? And they want to know, what's my cash to close and what's my down payment, or what's my cash to close and what's my monthly payment.
Okay.
So during my pre-approval process, I look through all their documentation. I have them come in. We have a big screen, flat screen TV, and I put right up there for everyone to see a range of prices, what that means for their down payment, what it means for their mortgage payment, taxes, insurance, and then how it relates into the income. It's going to show them cash to close, basically all the numbers behind the transaction, which I think we do really well, and a lot of banks don't do quite as good because they just tell them, you can afford 400, but they don't know the numbers or the why behind the 400.
Correct. Well, so let's just say someone comes to you, they've been working, bread and butter family, single income, dual income family, not a lot of revolving credit card. Let's just say, to keep it simple, they have 2 credit cards and 2 car payments.
Okay.
They've had solid employment for the last, say, 5 years, no gaps in employment. What are some of the questions that those people have for you? Like, because let's just say they've been renting for 5 years and now they realize, hey, we have this small nest egg, we want to start a family, the prices we see that are affordable. When they come to you, what are some of the things that they want to know from you? We don't think we can afford a house, like you said, but what are some of the things that you can help us with? Because it's unknown.
Well, that's, I think, part of the problem right there. So when someone buys a house, the average person might buy 1, 2, 3 houses in their lifetime. We're doing it every day, so sometimes we look at the process and we're like, oh, this is a very easy process. But if you look at some of those stress, they tell you how stressful an event is. Buying a house, getting a loan is very, very stressful for a lot of people. Because for me, when you don't have the knowledge or we don't have the power, in essence, it becomes a little more of a nerve-wracking event. So we want to make sure that when they come in, that we let them know from basically A to Z what that process is.
Right.
Here's the step. You get pre-approved, and then we go, we look at the range of prices. We pick an area that we're looking at. We put some particulars down as what we want in a house, so then someone like yourself can actually help them find that house. And then once we find the house, we can walk them through, how do we write an offer? What's the next step? What's the next step? So one thing that I always do when I communicate with my clients is I say, whatever I'm calling them for, that phone call, I bring that up, and then I tell them what the next step is. And then, more importantly, how long is that next step going to take? Right.
It's interesting that you say that, because one of my first clients when I got into the real estate business, and it was all an educational process for me as well. But the thing that every deal is different. I always tell her, no 2 deals are the same, every scenario, regardless. But this one particular client, and if you know who I'm talking to, you don't have to, I'm not going to mention your name, so don't worry. But they went out and they were so excited to buy their first home. Okay, so they so we're in escrow. I explained to them the fees of the things they would have to pay up front, like the appraisal, home inspection. As much as people try to get out of the home inspection, I insist upon a home inspection. It's kind of like, it's just a necessity to purchase.
Cheap insurance.
That's it. So then they felt, okay, it's our dream home. They didn't want to take any of the old furniture over to the new home, so they went out, Ken, and guess what they did?
I can only imagine they bought a bunch of furniture, but on credit.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Now, explain to me the pitfalls of doing so. How does that affect their qualifying ratios?
Well, definitely we would have to take that in consideration. So a great example, and this happened literally today, the client is closing, first-time home buyers. When we come in, we sit down, I give you a sheet of paper, I say, here's what you can't do, and here are some problems that come up on the loan, and towards the top of the list is don't get any new credit. So this guy got a brand new pair of boots, and he got 20% off the pair of boots because it was at Sears, and they said, would you like 20% off on your purchase today? He said, yes, I would like to save $8. Well, we have to pull credit in the beginning of the process, and we pull credit at the end of the process, and we compare the two credit reports. Well, they differed, and they differed because he had a nice pair of boots on his Sears credit card. So we had to go through a process of, it took about 2-3 days to send it back to the underwriter, get the underwriter to approve it. It was a new final loan application. It was a lot more complicated than you would imagine for a $40 pair purchase. And the kicker is he saved $8, but there was a $59 annual fee, so he actually lost $41 and put his escrow in jeopardy because he got this pair of boots.
Wow. That's one of the things that we love about Ken is that you have a whole team that you work with. And for the consumer out there, when you're, a lot of people tell you they have all kinds of things, they might throw papers at you, a lot of confusing things, but I like that you keep it super simple for people and that they have a team of people that are
Absolutely.
working for them, so you don't have to be the expert, you need to find the right expert, and you just want it simplified. Like for me, I go in, I don't want to know everything about finance, I do what I do, and I just want someone who's good and just give me all the simple ways, just tell me step by step what I need to do. And that makes the process just so much more enjoyable.
We try to break it down, show the numbers, what it's going to cost monthly basis, what's going to cost up front in the escrow process, what do we have to pay for up front before closing. So I think that's key because the consumer really needs to know that stuff up front, and I think a lot of banks unfortunately don't do that.
Right. Well, very good.
Very good, that's
Yeah.
very informative.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ken.
Thank you.
Yeah, but before we close, can you go ahead and give everyone your contact information?
Definitely a little plug for my website, learntobuyahome.com. It's the number 2, learntobuyahome.com, and the direct line for my phone number is 310-465-2326.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.